Welcome to Redbeard and the Den of Tools. Honey ho, guys and gals, it's Red, your friendly neighborhood tool bear, back again here in the Den of Tools. And if you don't remember, at least those of you who are longtime subscribers to the channel, knows that earlier this year we started looking for what we consider to be the best middleweight toolbox champion that we could find. That is, what's going to be the best toolbox for, say, the DIYer, prosumer, maybe even low-end pro. We're looking for middle-of-the-road 40-inch cabinets here. And we looked at everything from Harbor Freight, Cobalt, Huskey, Milwaukee, Craftsman, and more. And we came down to these as our finalists. We took a poll, we looked at stuff, we looked at, some stuff that ruled some stuff out. Like, say, availability. Unfortunately, Craftsman has not had great availability, so the stuff that we wanted to go with from Craftsman just wasn't going to happen. Some other stuff got ruled out due to quality. Some other stuff got ruled out other people doing videos on it and just saying, yeah, you want to stay away from it for the price. And that's mostly the Milwaukee ones there. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, I like the Milwaukee. And that's great. If it works for you, it works for you. But we're looking at, across the board, on average, what's going to be the best for a home gamer, DIYer, prosumer level, and maybe even for a small pro shop. And that's what we decided to do. And so we came down to these two. For cost, what we figured we'd do is we got the smaller of the US General, not the 40-inch, but it's the same build. And this Cobalt, it's kind of hard to gauge what this is. It's a lot less expensive than their normal one. They have one that's very similar, goes for around $1,000. This one I picked up for $550 back in, I think it was May. It's a 41-inch. We'll have the full specs for you and everything later. And we took these two, and I got them home. We got them all set up, and what we did? We loaded them up with tools, put them in the back of the old trailer there, along with my Yukon box there, and we hauled it all the way from Las Vegas up to Livingston, Montana, to use on our summer house up there. This is our family house we've been fixing up. It's fourth oldest house in the state, needs a lot of work. Anyway, no garage or shop up there, so this stuff sat outside the entire summer, and it was a wet and wild summer in Montana, let me tell you what. So not only did we use and abuse these all summer, in fact, I even told the Cubs every time we walked by, open and slam, the drawers, as much as they could. They actually got a little annoyed with Dad saying, but we wanted to put these through, basically we wanted to fast track the abuse on them, put years of use into them in one summer, through hauling them up there, as I said, fully loaded with tools, and then bringing them back. We even went through probably one of the worst freak hailstorms in Montana's history, killed thousands of birds. And these two boxes sat out there, in the weather. They got used and abused. At the beginning of the year, I tried to put a tarp on it, but after getting blown off or ripped off the third or fourth time, I just gave up and said, well, let's see if they can stand up to the weather. And I got to say, not one of these came back looking really worse for wear. In fact, let me show you what we now feel is the champion toolbox, the one that you should go with for your home garage, home shop, or even small, pro shop. Okay, no comments about how I don't have it completely organized. We're not totally unpacked, getting back from the trip. We've unloaded everything. And also remember that dent that you just saw there in the lower right. That was there before we left. In fact, it came new that way. But I just wanted to show you overall, if you go back and you look at the other video, the original video, and I'm going to link it up here and it'll show up in the upper right, not much has changed. It's, this hinge, that was one thing I was really worried about, is how this hinge would hold up. And of course it held up fine. The only thing that really is there's some rubbing, the paint, a little NASCAR-like rub in there. This thing was fully stocked. I mean, it was filled to the brim. The drawers were completely filled. And as you can see, the drawers still slide just fine. There's no clankiness to it. Back and forth, just still smooth. I mean, great, really. The chrome on the Cobalt logo, it rubbed off a little bit. It was rubbing up against a piece of wood. Yeah, my wrenches are all over the place. That was me. That wasn't even from the movie. When I got up there, the wrenches were all in the same place. That Tecton set there, that thing weighs a metric ton, I'm pretty sure. And that's a full Pittsburgh set next to it. So there's a bunch of weight in that drawer. Well, there you go. It's the Kobalt 43.6 inch tool chest. Now, this thing is 63.4 inches high and it's 25 inches deep. Shut up, Moto. He's always trying to butt in, that little bugger. Anyway, I gotta say this. It's not a seriously robust cart, but it's not bad. It really isn't. And for the average bear, the guy at home doing stuff, this thing is really versatile. It's got a lot of really thin, drawers there for like wrenches and stuff like that. It's got some deeper drawers. It's got that kind of micro hutch up on top. And the price point, they dropped it another $50. I paid $550 for it. They've dropped it down to $500. You're just not going to be able to find this much storage at that kind of price point in anything else. We've been looking around. If you find something better, and before you guys go off about your Huskey, I know you guys are Huskey fans. I've seen the Huskey stuff that's at $500 and $600. Look at the depth on it. It's like 18 inches or worse in some cases. And they've got one that's very similar, looks just like it, but it's only 34 inches wide. So, when it comes down to the amount of cubic square footage you're going to get, being able to put full-size tools in and stuff, if you get below this, it becomes an issue. And that's the issue I found with the Harbor Freight. That box, top and bottom was about the same price point, but it was just so small at that point that, maybe for small tools, electronics, machinist kind of tools, that kind of stuff, sure, I could see going with that. But really for the average kind of bear, somebody who's going to want to have some deep drawers, some thin drawers, the hutch area on top, it just wasn't that usable. Now, the drawers on this, they're not super robust, but they're not terrible. They come with their little mesh liner there. I wish it was a solid liner, but I guess it's not too bad. It helps, dirt and debris fall through, keep it off the tools. But you've got 50-pound slides, 2 slides per drawer, so that's a 100-pound rating per drawer. But I would say, I don't know if I would push that 100 pounds, especially right in the center of the drawer. I tried to have my daughter stand in the bottom drawer, and she got one foot in and started to pick up the other foot, and based on the noises it was making, we decided to say no. And she's 10 years old and she's nowhere near 100 pounds. But she's certainly dense, and all that weight in one spot was probably a bit too much. So as I said, spread it around some. But that said, I have, as you saw in the video, I've got my Tecton and my Pittsburgh socket sets in one of the drawers. It still rolls and opens just fine. But you're not going to see something like this. If you're one of the guys who's like, I want to have a top drawer that's got, stand up all my sockets and stuff. No, you're going to want to get the US General or something like that. This is not the drawer, the cabinet for you. Now, one area where this may, because as I said, this is mostly a home gamer, a DIYer, prosumer kind of grade. I was trying to think, is there any area where a professional might use this? Now, one area is, say, like motorcycle repair. They have a lot less tools, it seems, than you see in an auto shop. So, in fact, I had one guy who was talking to me about it. He's interested in using it in a motorcycle shop. But the other one is, say you're a pro and you got a setup like this one here. You've got the traditional rolling cabinet, you got the traditional top box, but it just has that silly little top there. I don't even get the point of those things. There's only so much you can put up there. Maybe some air hoses and some manuals or something. I don't know. But you want to be able to store, some other stuff in there, or you want the hutch area or something. Well, let's look at this with the Cobalt. So not only do you have the thin drawers, you have these 4 sets of fairly deep drawers. And what I found that I use this for a lot is anything that comes in one of these blow molded cases. I've got a torque adapter, I've got a digital calipers, I've got a torque wrench. I got a bunch of not just tools, like say sockets and stuff, but I've got a lot of test equipment and such. And I know a lot of you pro mechanics have those as well. So this could be a case where you have your traditional box, and then maybe on the side you set up this box. I mean, at $500, you get the little demi hutch up top. You get, an area where you can plug stuff in. You can set that up as like a pseudo power drawer. Say your cabinet doesn't have a power drawer, or you don't have the option for getting a hutch or workspace on it. this could be an option. If you want an area to set up your power tools, plug them all in, leave them plugged into charge. You could plug in, or you could put down, all your blow molded cases down in the bottom drawers and stuff like that, and some of your miscellaneous specialty tools. And this kind of become your specialty box off the side away from your average tools. Anyway, just always trying to find a way to find a solution for something. I often say that there's rarely such thing as a bad tool. You just haven't found the right use for it, even if the right use is a paperweight. But, in this kind of case, I think for a home garage kind of shop, this is a no-brainer. $500, one and done. It's very flexible as far as storage space. It's got a decent build quality. I really enjoy it. As far as the Harbor Freight, I love the U.S. General, and I think the 56-inch box would be a great box for people to get. But I don't like the U.S. General top box solutions. I'm not a fan of that old school traditional top box. Too many thin drawers. The opening top area is pretty much useless. I'm a fairly tall bear. I'm 6'2". It's tough to see what's going on up in there, and it's so shallow. Maybe you found a use for it and you like it a lot. That's great. I like having the tool charging capability, having all my chargers plugged in, having my power tool sit there, and then at the end of the day I can just shut it and lock it up. I don't have to worry about it. And as I said, they stood up. Both of them stood up just fine all summer. But at the end of the day, as far as a recommendation, I gotta say that the Cobalt for the average home gamer is gonna be, our champion for today. Let me know what you think about the Bears' decision there. Maybe you think he's wrong, that I've eaten too many picnic baskets and lost my mind. I don't know. But anyway, that's all the Bear has for you. You all take care, and as always, shine on.